Welcome. This is Prime News. I'm Mike Alanos. Right now, a quiet street torn apart in a search for a child killer. Investigators in Florida are retracing every step 7-year-old Summer Thompson took walking home from school on Monday. Again, get that picture. 7-year-old walking home from school and she ends up dead in a garbage heap. Well, at the center of this major investigation, a vacant house roped off and under 24-hour guard. Guys digging through a dumpster in hazmat suits. Neighbors say it is pandemonium. And just into us, those 161 registered sex offenders living nearby, not one is being called a suspect at this point. On Summer's mom, so brave. We heard her yesterday. Speaking again this morning on the CBS Early Show, Dina Thompson, she is resolute, wanting to find who killed her daughter.
We heard you say that you hope the killer pays. What are your feelings towards this person?
I hate him. I hate him.
When you say you hope he pays, what do you think would be adequate payment for this?
Oh, that he needs the death penalty. And I hope they put him in a cell with someone who absolutely can't stand a child predator and let them have fun with him.
The little girl's autopsy is done. Police know the cause of death. They're not letting it out, though. We'll ask why are they keeping that under wraps. We'll take your calls on this at 1-877-TEL-HLN. Let's bring in our experts on the ground near Mom's home. Natisha Lance, producer from the Nancy Gray Show. Also with us, Mike Brooks, HLN law enforcement analyst. Natisha, let's start with you. Any new leads on this, or is everything still centering around that home?
Everything right now, Mike, is still centering around that home. I was out there last night until about midnight, and they were in those full white jumpsuits, those hazmat suits, and they're doing all types of investigations. There was a bulldozer that was out there late last night. They said that there was some heavy debris that they needed help moving. There's also a construction dumpster that is right by this house. They said that that dumpster has not been emptied since the time Summer went missing or before it up until now, but they went thoroughly through that dumpster, also going thoroughly through that house. They were doing some light testing, sensitive light testing. If you looked inside the house, you could see some bright blue lights going off, also bright green lights going off, and they are saying that this is standard procedure for an investigation such as this. Now, they're not saying that any such physical evidence led them back to this house, but multiple witnesses placed Summer in front of this house as the last point of her being seen.
Do we know, Natisha, how many people saw her? Because this is a residential area, and this walk home, right? Somewhat populated. So somebody probably saw something, right?
Absolutely, Mike. You would think so. It's a purely residential area, and for around and around this area, it's just a neighborhood, just houses. You would think that somebody had seen something. What they're saying, there's multiple witnesses, not giving a specific number, but they're saying that that includes adults as well as children. Now, there's also a park directly across the street, and they also collected some evidence from that park. They were inside a men's room at that park that is connected to the park for about 6 minutes last night. We don't know what evidence was collected from there.
Okay, let's bring in Mike Brooks. Well, Mike, let's hit on both of those. This is the first time I've heard of this park and a men's room. Let's start there. What would take authorities there? Some sort of physical evidence, some trace that Summer was there at one point?
A good possibility, but if they were only in there for 6 minutes, as Natisha was saying, they probably were just in there just to make sure they crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's. What I find interesting is what Natisha was saying. She was there till midnight last night, and she saw blue lights, green lights. Mike, this is, we call it alternate light sources when we're working a crime scene. You can also use luminol. You spray that around a house. It looks for the presence of blood, even little tiny specks of blood spatter. Use alternate light sources also for looking for other things. You can use it for looking for fibers. Certain kind of fibers will glow under a certain alternate light source. You can also look for the presence of semen, other bodily fluids to see if possibly they were in that house. Gotcha. But Mike, you know, you and I talked about it right before we went on. There's something that led them to that house. Yes, I understand that that's the last vicinity she was seen, but did they find something in that landfill around her that led them back to there that may be connected with that house? Or was there something we talked about yesterday? Was there something on her clothes that may have led back to there? But they're in those white Tyvek suits. They want to have those on to make sure that they don't transfer any possible evidence from their clothing onto a possible crime scene.
Okay, guys, let's take a quick break. More with Mike and Natisha coming up. We got some phone calls. Gina will get to you after the break. Hang on. Facebook comments as we try and again come to the grips with the brutal, tragic death of 7-year-old Summer Thompson.
It's every suit, 60 and 70% off at Joseph A. Bank. That's every suit, 60% off and 70% off at Joseph A. Bank.